everyone. I hope you all are doing very great with whatever aim you have, whatever like plans you are having. You are preparing well for IPMI 2026 for other entrances examinations as well. And to boost your motivation as well, today we have Chahat, who has been CS student for past 1 year, has been with us and has been preparing for these entrance examinations just like you. She was in a similar situation just like you, and eventually she did got into her dream D school, what we can say is, and she will be joining IIM Rohtak very soon. So first of all, very congratulations to you on converting
Thank
IIM
you.
Rohtak. It's a great institute you are going to be a part of, and I hope you can make the best out of your time over there and like reach the greatest heights in your career as well. Right now, how was the feeling and everything when you converted I am Rohtak? How was the reaction? How was your family's reaction?
So I was actually very relieved. Like during that time, I cancelled most of my other college admissions because I was waiting for IIM Rohtak's result, as that's where I wanted to be. So when I finally got the result, I first told my mom, and she was obviously very happy. During that time, we were in Mumbai, so we just left the other day. We packed our bags, and she filled the fees for Rohtak there and then itself. So everyone was really happy, my family, my relatives, even my friends. Rohtak is not that far away. I live in Delhi, so it's just a 2-hour drive. So I wasn't going that far, and it was definitely on one of my top lists for college. So I was very happy.
Okay, so there were some other institutes as well, right? That you were
Yeah,
targeting, that you were aiming for.
I did
Okay,
apply to IIM Indore, to Rohtak, NMIMS, Christ, and DU. I did give COT as well.
okay. And how many of them you were able to convert? If we can talk about.
I converted NMIMS, Christ, I am Rohtak, and in DO got a seat in Hindu College for BSc Maths.
Okay. So just a personal question to you. A lot of students basically struggle over
Mm,
here when even when they have converted these things,
mm,
these great institutes,
yeah.
right? They struggle in terms of which one to prefer and which one not. So what
Yeah.
was your take on deciding? Okay, I'll be going ahead with IIM Rohtak, and yeah, I can look forward to that
Mm.
particular institute.
So mainly I researched about it a lot, and the curriculum was something which I preferred. Like apart, like in other institutes, I was going for BS Economics, and although I really liked that course, I wanted more of a multidisciplinary program where I could study different subjects as well. Moreover, I was looking forward to a residential program as it provides you with more opportunities in campus itself. So it was definitely on the top of my list and was a priority over other institutes that I applied to.
Okay, so you kind of went to both of the options, like in terms of management programs. BBA also was in your list, and IPM
Yeah.
was also in your list. So how did you decide or take one side, whether it's IPM, whether it's PPA, and even when you started with your journey back then, how did it occur to you? Okay, I should be getting started. Well, like how did it all happen? If you can walk us through that as well.
Hmm. So I got to know about the IPM program in 11th grade, and before that, I hadn't really thought about what course I wanted to do. So it just seemed like the perfect course. I decided that I'll start preparing in 12th grade, and but I did apply to other institutes as well in case I wasn't able to get in. And mostly it was about the course, but it was also about the college because I am Rohtak, I am Indore, all these have been around for quite a few years now, and they are recognized IIMs. So it's definitely a great opportunity for any student as you get to do 5 years undergraduate as well as postgraduate without having to give another entrance in between if you manage to maintain a CGPA. So I think it was a wonderful course, and that's why I decided to start preparing for it.
A lot of students face this issue. Let's say if that was a scenario with you as well, let me know. In terms of deciding how much time to dedicate to the preparation, how should I be kind of organizing my day or planning my day, scheduling basically a schedule. What to do, how to approach this preparation journey, and again when we'll move forward with this discussion as well, how to continue with that schedule. How was it for you? How difficult it was for you? How challenging it was for you? So if you can let us know about
Yeah.
that as well.
So I started in March when before joining, like as soon as I joined 12th, I enrolled in this coaching. And I try to give priority to this because at the start 12th studies are not that much that you need to focus there. It's mostly boards which you can start studying for later on as well and catch up. So I try to give priority to these coachings. They mostly happen on the weekend, and even on weekdays I like after coaching whatever topic we studied I try to practice it because you can only learn from the coaching. In the end you have to practice yourself, especially with quant topics. And for school, I just started before my exams, like a week before my exams, and that seemed to work well for me. And especially in June and summer holidays, I gave all my time to IPM coaching as well. For school, I only did my projects and a little bit of exam prep. Mostly it was IPM. As for in the later end and 12th, then I started focusing on boards like from January to March. Mostly I focused on boards itself. And after they were over, that's when I restarted my IPM prep, did mocks, and the coaching also tried to focus more on topics that were important and revising all of those. So I think that was a great help because you got to revise everything that you might have forgotten while studying for boards.
You appeared for two of the major entrance examinations, IPMAT Indore and IPMAT Rohtak, and they two have very different exam pattern if we talk about, right?
Hmm.
One do not consist of LR,
Yeah.
as we can see, and one consists of only mathematics and verbal ability. But then again, there are three sections, but those three
Hmm.
sections come with some time foundation.
Yeah.
One exam has a time foundation, another exam do not have any kind of time foundation, right? That matter of there is no such time limitation in
Hmm.
terms of section. So how like when you appear for mocks, how those mocks help you to decide what kind of strategy you are going to implement in terms of taking the mock, whether you are going to follow the structure that is being provided or the order that is already being provided in terms of
Hmm.
section. Okay, if quant is there, you appear for quant. So, what was your strategy? How did you adapt? Because adapting to different
Hmm.
exam patterns is also important. And we'll come to another question regarding this structure itself. But yeah, when we prepare for two different exams, how do you balance your approach, or how do you kind of identify what is the right thing for which particular
Hmm.
examination?
So in Indore, you don't have a choice to select which section to do first. You have to follow the order. First is the short answer maths questions, but you don't have MCQs. You have to type in. Second is the MCQ maths, and third is the English. So in that, you don't have a choice. So you basically just have to focus on getting it right. Like the first section does not have any negative marking, so for that, my strategy was to attempt. Like even if I didn't know any clue, I would still type in some answer, and actually, that worked because I got one answer right by fluke in my IPM at Indore. I had no clue. I just typed in an answer and it was correct. For my second section, which is MCQ, in that you have negative marking, so you need to be very careful. It's always quality over quantity. Instead of just attempting anything, you have to be like at least 70% sure that that answer is correct. Otherwise, it might just end up wrong. For example, I know people who attempted barely 9 or 10 questions and they got a higher score than me while I attempted 14 or 15 because it's all about accuracy in the second section. So you have to filter out everything. Like you have to scroll through questions until you find the one that you are sure of, solve that, and then enter the answer. So you have to basically solve the questions in batches. Like the first batch should be the one that you can solve easily in like less than a minute or 30 seconds. Then next you move on to those questions that you need a bit time in, but you kind of know that you might be able to solve it, and you leave the extremely hard questions for the end or just leave them altogether. And the second section, it also has a set of five questions which are about data interpretation mixed with mathematics. So it's at the end of that section. So you have to decide whether you solve it, whether you spend time solving it, or you just leave it all together. Because if you spend time and you don't come with an answer, then you just have wasted all the time. And as for the third section, English, in that also there are I think two paragraphs, two or three unseen paragraphs, and at the end there is a five-question parajumble again in which you don't have MCQs, so you have to type in the order. So for that also you need to decide what to attempt and what not to. English, personally, I found English to be easier than mathematics, so that the third section was kind of a relief for me to gain some marks. As for Rohtak, in that you have the option, you can choose which section you want to attempt first. There's quant, there's logical, and there's English. So personally, for me, I found English and logical to be very easy. But in the actual exam, I attempted quant first because I was going through the questions and I saw that I could solve these. and I wanted to solve them at first rather than at the end, because in less time you can still attempt logical and English questions, but with quant you kind of get into the panic of solving and not knowing. So I first attempted everything from quant, then logic, then English, and at the end I had a lot of time left, so I could just revise and attempt those questions which I hadn't done. In total, I left around 8 questions in Rohtak. I think I was able to get a pretty good score.
So do you kind of give yourself some time limit in your mind itself that okay,
Yeah,
this is the time that I have to restrict myself to, and in this much time I have to complete the first section, even though there is no such time limit in IPMAT or the
yeah,
exam. So was that the scenario for you?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It was key. I would give more time to quant, like around 30 minutes, and then remaining to logical English, and then come back to everything in the last 20 minutes if I can spare them.
Okay, okay, fine. One quick tip around mobs, I believe that should
Mm,
be discussed. You have
yeah.
like prepared for these two examinations, and you were able to make some changes or
Mm,
implement the strategy as well
mm,
in the actual examination. So, what actually some real talk when it comes to mocks? We already discussed it's a core part of our preparation journey, core part of
mm.
our student preparation journey. what is what are the few things that one need to do, or you think is important or necessary while going through mocks? A lot of people have questions as well when we should start giving mocks. So what it looked like for you, how early you started, or was it like at the later part of your preparation?
Personally, I only gave a few mocks at the starting, which I think I regret because I thought that after I'm done preparing these topics, only then I'll give mocks. But I think you should always give sectional tests or topic tests. Like whenever you've completed a topic, your coaching, like we had a portal on Career Launcher where we had topic tests as well as sectional tests. So you should always give those. And after you have done like a significant part at least of quants, you should definitely start giving mocks like after just 2 months of your prep, considering you were preparing entire year. So you should start giving mocks even after 2 months. And I gave my first mock, I think in May or June. And after that, whenever we had like the indoor mock, I always gave those, I think one per month. But I think you should definitely increase the amount of mocks you're giving as soon as you're covering more and more topics. Before my exam, the last 2 months, I focused on giving a mock almost every single day so that I could get more and more practice. And I think after you give a mock, it's important to not just focus on the score, because that score is not what you're going to get in the actual exam. It's more about the strategy used to solve it, the time management, and the accuracy. So, like, go through the solutions of all the mocks. After you're done with the mock, you have tested your time speed. Now you have to test your accuracy. So solve the mock without any time constraints. Like go through the questions again, try to now solve them using as much time as you need, and then see the solution if you got it right or not. I think that's very crucial, because through that you get to know whether you know the concept or not, and you just fumble because of the time constraint, or whether you need to learn that. So I think that's crucial.
Okay, definitely. Identifying what sort of mistake you made in the mock
Yeah.
is also very important. Just simply knowing, okay, you done something bad or you couldn't attempt that question is not necessary. You
Hmm.
also have to identify what kind of mistake you made. Whether
Yeah.
you, as you stated, whether you fumbled because of the time pressure, or
Yeah.
was it a very silly mistake? You could be more mindful about it in
Hmm.
the future, mock attempts, right? Definitely.
Yes.
Well said, well said. Okay, the second part of this entire journey
Hmm.
is the interview thing, and
Yeah.
how one should like how did you prepared about it, whether it was done in the last moment or you were quite aware about the admission process, that okay, I'll keep my mindset like
Hmm.
this, that I'll definitely be moving to the next round and I should start preparing myself for the interview round as well. So what was the scenario for you? You started early for interview prep or in the last days
Uh,
after selection?
Personally, I didn't start earlier because, like, I just used to read a bit about GK from the GK book that we had been given, but I didn't start the interview process. I focused more on the entrance, and after that, we had like 1 or 2 months before the interview. So as soon as I was done with the entrance, even when I didn't know the result yet, I still started preparing for the interview in case I had the opportunity to be shortlisted. For Rohtak, I think I had like 2 weeks to prepare. So I researched about general GK topics. It's very important to know about the city you're from because they do ask you questions related to that, about any current affairs in the last 6 months. You can refer to YouTube videos for that. Just get an overall idea. You need to have good speaking skills. Thankfully, I was okay at conversation and giving an extempore, which is very important because they ask that in Rohtak, as I think, as well as in Indore. And they also ask you about your academics, so it's crucial that you study well for boards. And after you're done with everything, even your entrances, you just revise everything that you have studied, especially economics, because the program has economics as one of its main topics. And maths, they can ask you to solve a question there, they can ask you to draw a graph. So it's very important to revisit all of those topics again. um, as for interview mocks, what do you call them? So I did give around two mocks, preparatory mocks from Current Launcher itself, and I think those were sufficient because they taught me that what questions can be asked, how to tackle it if you don't know the answer to something, and sometimes they can ask you tricky questions in which you will have to give a diplomatic answer as well. So it's crucial to prepare for interviews because I think there are 35% weightage. So yeah, it's crucial for that.
Yeah. For Indore, definitely it's 35. For
Yeah.
Rohtak, it differs. Right, right. So eventually you were able to navigate that process
Hmm.
as you were able to do well, and there you are all set to, join IPM, IIM Rohtak in
Hmm.
the upcoming days. I hope that journey is kind of very fruitful to you, right? You get to learn a lot, you get to achieve whatever you want. Now, before we end this session, we have definitely discussed a lot of things.
Yeah.
I would say one thing that what would you suggest to the future aspirants? One thing that they should be avoiding while preparing, some myth or some kind of fear that is holding them back,
Hmm.
and what should be their main focus. So one tip kind of, and one thing that you should be completely avoiding through their entire preparation journey.
I think the tip would be to practice more, not just don't go for multiple resources. Stick to one resource, whether it's coaching or whether it's a YouTube channel that you're following. But do practice, find questions for those topics that you're doing, solve them daily. Even if you're giving just 15 minutes per day, but you should definitely give some time, not just skip your preparation. Even if you have exams, you can spare time for that, but after they're over, you should definitely get back to your preparation. You should practice more mocks. Something which I will suggest that you should not do is to ignore English or logical, because even if you might think that they're easy topics, but you do need preparation for certain like vocabulary, grammar, para jumbles. You need to learn how the rules work and how to answer such questions, idioms, phrases, because you might not know the actual meaning, and MCQs can be quite tricky. So it's important not to lose focus, because I know someone, they were able to score great marks in quants way above the cutoffs, but they missed just English by just 1 mark. They had a 230 something score in Indore out of 360, but because of English they couldn't make it. So it's very important to not take it lightly.
Yeah, definitely. Great tip and great, suggestion for all the aspirants, future aspirants. Be mindful about the structure, what kind of cutoffs and procedures will be followed by a particular institute. Because if you are missing out on one particular section, definitely you will have to face the consequences as well.
Yeah.
So balancing everything is definitely very important. You cannot, because they are eventually a part of that examination.
Hmm.
So they will be considered in the final selection as well. They'll be contributing in some way to your final selection, to your overall performance as well. So well said, Chahat, and it was great to have you. This next chapter is will be quite exciting for you. So my like we have the best wishes for you. Right,
Thank
do
you.
well, achieve great, and we'll be rooting for you throughout your through this journey ahead, right?
Thank you.
And to all the aspirants, yeah, to all the aspirants that are listening to us, see, believe in your journey. Everyone's journey is different from other. You can take inspirations, but you eventually have to take actions according to the kind of situation you are into. So just these all, these talks and everything are just to get you a reference, to get you understand how actual things can look like. But again, eventually it will be up to you how you're working around, what things work out for you and what do not work out for you. So you have to adapt accordingly, and that should be, I believe, your mantra. Stay motivated, prepare well, and be very disciplined about whatever you are doing. And I believe, as Chahat was able to achieve her dreams, you will be able to do so too. So yeah, stay tuned with us. We'll be having such more conversations, and all the very best, Chahat. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
with us today, and have a great day, everyone.